So I've been having fun exploring open E tuning to give a couple lessons on it. I wanted to kind of go dive a little bit deeper into this. So any of you guys that are, or gals out there that are fans of Derek Trucks, he plays in an open E tuning and he does some just mind-boggling leads and rhythms and everything. The thing that really gets me is he's able to play along with Clapton and tour with all these different people, and he's comping, playing rhythm. All these complicated songs, and he knows the forms in E tuning of playing, a C minor, C sharp minor, I should say, an A, lots of different ways of doing it. So what I wanted to do is, because we've been exploring E tuning, I wanted to show you a couple of shapes that could work for you if you like open tuning stuff and you like open E. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I've shown you already a basic 1-4-5, which is, that's the most basic, unless you're doing a, 1-3 kind of muddy waters thing. But what I want to show you, what I've discovered, and I sit around a lot of times, this is this beautiful 1920s guitar that I love. I just love the sound of it. So I'll sit around in open E tuning. I keep this thing in open E around the house. And I use it as a songwriting tool, really, because it takes me to places I can do voicings that I can't do with regular tuning. You just can't do it because of the way the strings are. So, here's what this sounds like. Which is an E, B, E, G sharp, B, E. So it sounds just like when you make an E chord, right? But if I make an E chord now, it sounds like Allman Brothers, Melissa, right? And so that speaks to the whole idea of taking an open tuning and messing around with it and exploring it. So hopefully I can show you a couple shortcuts here. So if you're playing an open E, I've already mentioned you can hit a real basic 4 chord like this. But there's a couple other ways I want to show you how to do that. One thing I'll do is I'll be like this, and I'll do a... So rather than just doing a claw move here like that, I'll do this. And I'll incorporate some open strings, so I'm really just doing second finger on the 5 of the E, third finger on the 5 of the G, and then pick up the high A note, which is a 5 of E. And do the same thing in a B, just move it up 2. So what that does, it allows you to have a little more open string sound, a little more kind of simpatico. Now if you want to, I'm going to show you a little walk down. I use this a lot. I'll go to the 4 chord, and then I'll go. So that's a typical, like an A, G sharp minor, F sharp minor, E. But it sounds cool in open tuning because you can do this. So you'll see I have my second finger on the 4th fret of the E, and then I pick up 3rd fret on the G string with my first finger, and then I tuck my 3rd finger on the high E. That's the form. Sometimes it gets... Yeah, there it is. And so that's on the 4th fret of the E string. So it looks like this. Okay? And then one more down. So here's what it sounds like in practice. That's pretty cool. And so that's a walk down from the A. And I'm really, all I'm trying to do is share with you a very kind of rudimentary vocabulary of shapes you can do and licks you can do in open E. And there's a million of them, and I'm going to get to a lot of them. The other thing that I do is if I'm on the 5 chord in E, and if I'm using, whether I'm using this, or if I'm just going to, if you're just beginning, you can just claw it, you call it claw. You can do a little walk down that goes like this. Now you've heard that definitely in regular guitar playing. It's going to be, of course, a different shape. It's actually easier in this. So if you're playing a blues and you want to do a walk down from the 5, which is the B chord in this case, you can just do, so all you're doing there is just the G and the E string on the 7th fret, and then go down 2 frets, there's your A chord. Now here you got to shift a little to get the next move. So you've got your first finger on the 3rd fret of the G, and your 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the E. And then take that down 2 frets, and then to your open. So here's what it is, slow motion. Now I'm sure you've heard that a million times, you know, in various songs. Here's what it sounds like, everything I just showed you, but I'm going to put it in like sort of a song form. So I'm just playing along here in E, right? Walking it down to the E. I'll do that again. There's your A, then your G sharp, F sharp, back up. You can do anything you want with it. Eventually you get back down to your E. Now I want to go to the 5, but I want to walk it down, so I go. Kind of finalizes, it kind of wraps up the whole progression. Pretty cool. Now you'll notice I'm doing a pull off on that B. I'm sliding up, and then I'm pulling off the G on the G string. So those little slide ups and pull offs are kind of important. So you see how I'm doing that, right? Working off that G string. Okay, so and then before I go, I want to show you a couple other substitute chords that I think are really great. One is, you know, if you're playing in the key of E, the relative minor is C sharp minor, but getting to that C sharp minor in E tuning, you know, if you're trying to figure it out on the fly, it's kind of crazy. So you'll notice that if you just do that's a C sharp minor, which is that form there, right, on the 5th fret. That's one way to do it, but this is the hipper way, I think. And I use this a lot. I take my 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the E string and 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and I do this. That's also a C sharp minor, but it sounds way more kind of mysterious, right? So, to put it in context, let's say I'm going to, from an E to an A, here's my E, walk up to A. Now I want to go to a C sharp, and I'll try this one. Back to A. Now let's go up to the B. And then resolves. Okay, so what we've learned so far today is we've learned to walk down, and we learned a second walk down from the 5 chord, and then we learned a cool way to play a C sharp minor chord, which is in fact the relative minor to E and gets used a lot. But if you play that voicing, I'll guarantee you, if you're sitting around playing with a couple of guitar players or something, and you put your guitar in open E, a big point of this whole exercise is that it's going to enrich in the whole jam session, because you're not going to be playing in unison the same chords everyone else is playing. because you're in open E tuning, it allows you to explore different voicings like that. Kind of reminds me of that Springsteen tune, I'm on Fire. Isn't that a great chord? I love it. So this is one of the reasons I'm really big on open tuning and exploring it, because it takes you to so many different places, and you'll just be surprised where, like if you figure out, okay, if that's an E, this has got to be, that's a D. And then once you know that's a D, you know that's a C, and so on. So it's a really exploratory kind of process, playing an open tuning. And the other cool thing is if you're playing just with one guitar, it sounds so full. So that's my number 3 lesson of open E tuning, and I think we're going to probably do a lot more later. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you down the road.
My friend Jimmy has the coolest guitar lessons. Go to jimmydillon.com/free and get all your amazing gifts. He's the best. Roll, rock and roll. Stay awesome and rock